Hello guys, I'm just going to do a quick talk on the changing of the clutch in a Subaru. And so I just changed the clutch. This is a Subaru Forester, and the old clutch, I don't know, this thing's got 350,000 kilometers on it. You can see it doesn't look too bad for 350,000 kilometers. I mean, it's all there. Anyway, the choice that you have to make is, are you going to lift the engine and pull the engine out, or are you going to go from below and disconnect the gearbox under there and pull the gearbox back? So those are your two choices for getting to the clutch and changing the clutch. So when I was faced with this, I ended up pulling the gearbox back, because the main reason I did that was because on YouTube there was a step-by-step video that was very easy to follow. So I didn't have to think. I could just sit there and just do the steps one at a time, and it was very explicit and very easy to follow. So I pulled the gearbox back. But afterwards, after thinking about it, I was left with, should you pull the gearbox or should you pull the engine? And which one is more work, and which one would have been a better option now that I'm done? And what I came up with is a little bit different than what everybody else is saying. Everybody else is talking about how easy it is to pull the gearbox or how easy it is to pull the engine. But really it comes down to something different. And it is this: if you have any work to do on the engine, then pull the engine. So if you want to change the timing belt, for example, or you want to get in there and do something on the heads or anything like that, then now's the time. Pull the engine, change the clutch, and then do the work on the engine. On the other hand, when you go to pull the gearbox, you end up having to pull all the suspension apart, pull out the transaxles, take out all the bushings and everything, because you have to for the gearbox to move back, you have to get rid of all of that excess front end drive. It's an all-wheel drive, so you have front wheel drive. So you got to get all that drive stuff disconnected. You also end up having to disconnect the drive shaft and the exhaust. So by the time that you disconnect the exhaust, so if you had something like, let's say that you're going to have to disconnect the exhaust because your exhaust was rotted out, something like that, or you're going to have to change a universal joint or something like that in your drivetrain, well, then that's kind of an easy decision. Then you might as well do all that as one project. Or if your wheel bearings were, your front wheel bearings were, if it was time to change them for some reason, if they're getting noisy, that's a common problem on Subarus. So if your front wheel bearings were starting to make some noise, then that makes the decision for you. And so the other thing that'll make the decision for you is your lifting capabilities on the car. Now I've got a pretty complete shop here, so I've got all the jacks and so lifting up the engine and putting it on jack stands, and then using and I've got a cement floor. There's more jack stands. And also when I put it up on jack stands, I use 8 jack stands instead of 4, because if that car comes down on you, it's a life-changing event. And then come in with a creeper and a light from underneath. So that's one option. But see, I've also got the overhead gantry deal and the engine hoist. See, so for me, it wasn't a question of the gear, but if you have, that also can make the decision for you. If you've got the gear to lift the engine, well, then that's a big deal. But and see, I also have, this is an ATV floor jack, but I can use that by pulling this handle. And this handle comes out right there, see? And then you can use that. I use that as a way to deal with the gearbox. So anyway, I just put that out there as a quick quick overview of the project to help make a decision on which way that you want to go for pulling the gearbox or pulling the engine. Okay, good luck, guys. Leave me in the comments how your project went. Bye-bye.